Contentment, the search of all mankind. Thank God we never can find it on our own, because it's in Him alone. And we say we understand that. We say we're living for Him. But then we lose sight of that until we're in our time of need. Often in our pursuit of contentment, our pursuit of happiness, part of my story is trying to utilize following God just to achieve the blessing that we want. This Bible Time series of contentment, part 1, it's going to be something that's different from the norm. It's going to be opening my life more so maybe now and being authentic than I ever have been. Because I have to share what God has revealed to me. What is contentment? Is it a goal? Something you hope to achieve and then you know you'll finally be happy? You finally found that person you're going to be with the rest of your life. You finally got that job. You finally... Is that it? It's the Great Commission. The Great Commission to save the lost. That's literally the only reason we as believers can take the next breath of air we're about to breathe. And it's why we're here. But so often, especially in the church, we get in a bubble where, thank God, we equip fellow believers. We get in community. We encourage one another. We better live our lives the way God intended. And then we don't really reach out after that. We think someone else is taking care of the lost. We think someone else, some organization is taking care of the broken. And we can go an entire life not actually living out the purpose we were truly intended to live. And it's like this coin, where we see the one part of it, the one side, and we got it, We're living it. We obtained freedom. We're not in bondage to sin. We're Christians. And we stop there. When there's an entire other side of the coin to go help the lost. And I'm going to confess that that's something I haven't done. And I feel like my Christian walk is just beginning. What's happened is I kept so much of my life just internal about me, selfish, good intentions at other times to help people. But I don't know if I've actually really challenged myself to become the spiritual being I've been created to be, going back to the statement I said earlier about the Great Commission is the only reason we're still here. We can draw a breath. Well, if our mission was done, obviously, as believers, we'd all be with Christ right now, and it would be over, and it'd be great, and we're in eternity. But we're breathing here. There's work to be done. Carefully don't fall into the trap of, I'm not doing enough, but God will train you, grow you, nurture you to do things bit by bit, not in your own power, but His, where you'll go places and you'll only be satisfied by walking in His will for you, and it's never going to end. It ends when we get to heaven. But this life will not satisfy you fully. There'll be moments of incredible joy, and you just reflect on God and can't believe how good it is. It doesn't sustain, though. We're supposed to have the void to then draw to Him. And what do I do when I hear this? And I know I'm supposed to plug back into the Great Commission, revive the church, and come back to original calling instead of just being in our bubble. What do I do? Well, that's between you and God. You've been created for a very specific group of people, person, could be just a few. That's why we walk with God, because He's the one who directs and leads it. And it's not about what we do to get there. As a drummer, that whole voyage was for me to basically realize I didn't do any of that on my own. I was a steward of what God gave me, but ultimately this is what matters most. This right here. Learning the truth. And we need to come back to that burning desire and that passion to spread the gospel to everyone that we know that we originally had when we were saved. I want to hear your stories, guys. I want to hear your thoughts on this. You can write it in the comments below. You can film a video if you like. I want to kind of do this together, and I want to know your thoughts. A verse I'd love for you guys to check out, my friend Tim Smith recommended I read the Contentment passage, God's provision, Philippians 4:10 through 13. Well, it ends with, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Study the context surrounding that verse. Feel free to talk about it, and we'll try to get into that video next week. But guys, yes, this is a pretty serious video. I had a pretty difficult week last week where I was just trying to find out, what am I supposed to do next, God? I've traveled the country doing music. I'm in an amazing organization now where I work, and there's still something. Well, what am I supposed to do next? And I realized it goes back to the most basic principle that I learned when I was saved, because someone followed their calling and saved me. And that's what life's all about. And it's just a matter of seeing how God unfolds it. So, the Contentment series begins. Alright, guys. Be blessed.